This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Good morning and welcome to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. Talk Africa is the program that brings you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. Today in the studio we have Ludwig New Jr., who's the CEO of Ashmore International and GEPS UK. Also, Candy Kisei, a radio host and social commentator, a radio host here. Both my guests are radio hosts here at GN Radio. Once again, good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Glad the both of you can join us. Now, our main topic of the day. Today we'll have an exclusive interview with a young man who was captured by Libyan militants and enslaved in Libya. That will be later on in the show. Be sure to send your comments and thoughts. If you want to ask any questions, I'm sure a lot of people would like to ask questions. We've discussed this issue, the crisis going in Libya, on this show so many times, and I'm sure a lot of people will have questions for the young man when he comes in. So make sure to send your comments and thoughts in. You can watch us live on Facebook, GNTV UK, and Talk Africa UK on our Facebook page. Okay, we're also live on Sky channel 291. We are live. If you're watching us on Sky, it would be good to hear your thoughts and comments on the show or the topic that we'll be discussing this morning. We'll also look at stories making the headlines across Africa, as always. But then we start with stories making the headlines here in the UK. When we do open the phone lines, if you want to call in to contribute into the show, is 0203 286 0185. 0203 286 0185. If you want to send a text message, is 0793 286 1328. A very good morning once again to the both of you. So let's start, Ludwig. I'll come with you this morning. There's a story in the Sun about Google with regards to terrorism.
That's right. So I think not long ago there was a bomb in Manchester, and since then there was like a drive for social media companies to make sure that all videos that are terror related are removed from videos and from YouTube. And so a video that was a bomb-making video with a step-by-step guide to mixing explosive is being shared again on Google Network. The tutorial used by Manchester Arena bomber Salam Abdi also shows how best to kill someone with a knife. So these videos were, it goes on to say, the videos have been shared thousands of times on the platform, such as Google Drive, Google Photos, since it resurfaced a fortnight ago, and it's still available last night despite flagging it up. The video features a balaclava-clad fighter identified as Abu Mohammed Al Mujher, speaking in Arabic but with English subtitles.
Wow.
So I think that the issue here is that given the fact that this video has caused lots of damages and caused lots of people to be radicalized, for Google to bring it back up again, it's quite concerning because Google, you can have young people. There's no age restrictions as to who can go online, and if there's a situation where we're trying to fight terror, it's quite sad that it's back on.
So basically, the young man in the kitchen there is showing people how to make explosive devices.
Yes. So he's speaking in Arabic and giving a step-by-step guide. It's like maybe a video. Yeah, it's like a cook. Yeah, that's it. And it's actually in the kitchen, and he's showing you how to mix this. And the 30-minute clip also discussed best places to. The 30-minute clip also discusses the best places on someone's body to target for a quick kill. So it was removed from Google's platform after the Manchester bombing, where Abdi killed 22 people in May, but was re-uploaded on the other platforms on November 22nd. So they kind of waited for the
everything to die down,
and then they're back again and say, hey, here we are. So the counter-terrorism people are trying to make sure it goes down, but I think it's a mockery. It's a mockery, really, because this is a platform that's meant to be engaged in the community, and it's got a social responsibility.
So it was on YouTube.
It was on YouTube. It was on Google. I mean, I don't know which ones, but it's on Google Drive and Google Photos.
Oh, okay. Because they're both linked, and YouTube and Google, they're both linked.
Yeah. So owned by the company who they were called Google before, but now they are called Alphabet. So there's an array of platforms that they own, and YouTube is one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's a shame, really, that something of this nature should be allowed to get on there.
Yeah, because if you post somebody's content on YouTube, it
right.
gets flagged up
Straight
straight
away.
away. So obviously they must have that in place as well.
Ironically, I posted the content this morning, and just like what you said, it just got flagged up. It's got copyright issues on it, just to let you know it's okay, but it's got copyright issues on there. So it's amazing how there's copyright issues on things that are maybe belongs to other people, but there's no way of flagging certain names, certain sounds, certain words to make sure that they don't fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's filters for everything online, but ironically, when it comes to bomb making, there are no filters.
Something that the whole world we're trying to fight against. Candy, it's a story that you've picked this morning, which is to do with Brexit.
Oh yes, in fact,
Apparently, the Brexit deal is 90% done. Oh,
Well,
we're nearly there. We're nearly there, 90% there.
Well, a senior EU official, and I'm reading it from the Times paper, so it should be authentic enough. And it says, a senior Brussels official said that Britain and the European Union, I find it difficult to say
European Union.
were 90% off the way to deal that would, to a deal that would open the door for transition and trade talks on Brexit this month. So Theresa May is going to fly over to Brussels and this morning, actually, to deal with it. Now, the diplomats are
Will
cautioning.
she have to queue up, or will she have to go for a visa queue?
I'm sure.
Getting there ready for what's to come.
Yeah, well, her passport and everything, I think, is sorted. But I think from now, after a while, we shall all need visas to go into Brussels. Diplomats have been cautioned that Mrs. May needed to do more to convince Dublin of the deal, because Dublin is not that interested. An Irish cabinet will meet this morning to discuss Brexit, including the border to Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Because there is this issue of people who, the whole of Ireland, people go through into Northern, come back, and all of that. And now, because of Brexit, the borders are looking like they'll be closed or they're going to be searched or, so
Hard
that was
border.
in the news yesterday on Andrew
Do they want a border, or don't they want a border? I'm a bit confused on that issue with Northern Ireland. Do they actually want a border, or are they saying that there shouldn't be a border?
They don't want
They
a
don't
border.
They don't want a border.
Yeah.
They're saying they want it to be as it is.
Yeah,
then-
but in
then-
view of
in
Brexit.
view of Brexit. But then when they come out of EU, then obviously things needs to be looked at again.
Yeah.
And that's what Britain don't want.
All right.
So, this is what's happening now. So, Mrs. May is on her way, 90%. Now, that then brings us to the worry of the money. Is it going to be paid or is it not going to be paid? In the beginning, nobody talked about money, I hear, but this is a rumor. But Mrs.
What the Brexit
The deal.
the
The
deal.
deal,
The divorce deal.
The divorce deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
It's funny you touched the divorce deal. I was listening to one program the other day, and they actually had a soundbite of the Brexit leading minister. Is it David Davis?
Okay.
Where it came out that Britain might have to pay a huge sum of money. And it's on record him saying, look, he doesn't know where all these figures are coming from. Britain will not pay such money.
Yes.
And then in the end, it turns out
That
you have to pay it, yeah.
So this 90% nearly there, I'm a bit skeptical because you don't know.
where is the money though? Because the money is being discussed, thrashed. People are wondering where it's going to come from. Is it taxpayers who's going to pay it? Is it the money that they were going to give to the NHS as promised by,
The 350 million a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just for time reasons, let's move on quickly. Ludwig, you got another story. If you can just touch upon that story briefly, and then we'll move on.
So briefly, people with asthma are being advised to wear scarves to cover their noses because in the winter. Because what happens is that doctors are saying people with asthma are being encouraged to wear scarves over their mouths and noses in this winter. Asthma UK is encouraging asthma sufferers to take scarves and and selfies showing that you're wearing scarves, because what they are saying is that when you're inhaling the cold, it kind of exacerbates your situation. So what they are saying is that to reduce likelihood of having episodes, put a scarf on.
That's actually true, because my mum, she's asthmatic, and recently it's been really, really cold, and it triggered her asthma. Yeah, so it's true. So make sure you do cover your face with some scarf when you're out and about if you do suffer from asthma. And quickly before we move on,
my last one
your last story, father of the Hyde.
Yes, Meghan Markle, our new soon-to-be princess, Prince Harry's wife, who everyone seems to be excited about. It's a beautiful love story and all of that. But her dad has suddenly become very reclusive, and he's been driven further into hiding because of the Prince Harry and his daughters.
He doesn't like the limelight.
No, he doesn't want to be in the limelight. And this is a man who is a former Hollywood lighting director.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's been out there in public, and he's, but now he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to. But I understand him, though. I think
it's a different type of scrutiny, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's true. It is, because the picture which they put in the newspaper,
it's not even
it doesn't depict what the man actually stands for or what he's done. They've got him sitting in the chair somewhere with a can of beer,
belly's out there,
Yeah, I mean, the news, they are so denigrating of human beings sometimes, depending on how they want to view somebody.
Yeah.
Now, if you like Meghan Markle so much and you're making such a big deal about it, why are you doing this to the father? But it's in the Sun, and with the Sun newspaper, it's always salacious and, that sort of scandal-loaded kind of news. And therefore, but I mean, I hope that all of that dies down and him and his Prince Harry and Meghan live happily ever after.
It was reported, I think it was yesterday, the bag that Meghan won sold out everywhere.
Yeah,
the bag that cost about £500 is sold out everywhere.
I didn't even see the bag.
Well, I think it's also she's got like a fashion label or something. So I think there's going to be like this Christmas, people are going to have a list of stuff that they want. And Meghan's clothing will be in there.
Maybe Kiki might want a bag.
I might want a bag. I like bags,
if you
but
get
I
to
didn't
see
see the bag. But,
you're too slow. You're being a recluse.
All right,
I'm a recluse.
This is Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We're taking a quick break, but just to remind you, you can watch us live on Facebook. We're streaming live. Go onto our Facebook page, GNTV UK, or Talk Africa, our page. We're also live on Sky Channel 291 and GN Radio. So you covered on all platforms. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
I love social media. I mean, I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Welcome to another edition of Switch HQ. That's right, my name is Ludwig Jr. and from now on you're going to see my shows coming to you straight from London exclusively. What, really? You're going to be seeing events from here, you're going to be seeing interviews.
Happy birthday movies.
I think God listens to me a lot.
I'm good, thank you.
Exclusively.
Please, Lydia, first thing, keep watching. Swish.
What if it is entertainment? This is the Met. They added to a Swiss HQ. Wow.
Hello, my name is Dorothy, Miss Face of Ghana UK 2016.
And I'm Sharon Rose.
This is Mimi. I came to blah, 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 blah.
This is Ghana, man, so we're presenting.
Swiss HQ, we say.
I'm just going to be in the crowd. Alright, you already know my name is SARKODIE, aka you know what time it is, aka Money No Big Problem, aka what else? Now stand up, you're watching Switch HQ. Woo!
You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If we could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
Doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight.
So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. Today in the studio, we have Ludwig Nee Jr. and also Candy Kisei. Both of them are radio hosts. Ludwig Jr. is CEO of Ashmore International GEPS UK. And also Candy Kisei, radio host and social commentator here at GN Radio. If you just join us, a very good morning to you once again. We are streaming live on Sky Channel 291. We're live on there. We're also live on Facebook. Go onto our Facebook page, GNTV UK, or Talk Africa. Go onto our page there. You will you can watch the live stream. Also, do send in your thoughts and comments. Later on in the show, we'll have an exclusive interview with a young migrant who was captured and enslaved in Libya. He's got amazing story, actually, from his background to how he got into Libya and where he's at now is unbelievable. He will give us an insight as to what's really going on in Libya. So do stay tuned for that one. If you want to share your comments, if you want to ask any questions, we'll give you the opportunity to do so. Or you can send a message on 07932 286 1328 07932 861 1328. So take those numbers down and feel free to send your message, or you can call into the studio 0203 286 0185 0203 286 0185. We're also live on GN Radio. You can go on to tune in and listen to us live. Okay, so there's no excuses. So now let's turn our attentions to stories making the headlines across the continent, and we start off with Ludwig. Zimbabwe, the new president, his new cabinet people against the people that he's brought in.
So Mr. Crocodile is getting bitten by his people. So Mngwagwa, he obviously Emerson, he was inaugurated into power just a few weeks ago. And what he did was that he appointed two people into position, and one of which were from the military, and people were not happy with that, and so Education and Labour Minister have now been replaced ostensibly, I can't even say that word, ostensibly, to comply with constitutional provisions. But military chiefs remain in charge of the foreign affairs and land portfolio. So 10 days ago, when Mugabe was taken out, obviously this whole not coup, power transition, whatever they called it.
let me interject before you carry on. Now it has been reported, because the BBC at the time and other mainstream did not say it was a coup.
No.
However, now it's been described as a coup. It was a coup.
So it was a coup.
Yeah.
So now he's been. But have they confirmed?
No, it hasn't been confirmed, but it's been reported as a coup.
As a coup. Okay, then it probably means that Zimbabwe is not playing ball. But anyway, so he had two ministers that he appointed, and there was an uproar because what was expected to be a government with, an inclusive government was not an inclusive government. And people were saying, look, what he's done, even though Mugabe is gone, he's following the party line. So there was an uproar. And as a result of that, two people have been removed, and they've been put, new cabinet ministers have been put in place. So some opposition supporters celebrated the most high-profile decision, the removal of Education Minister Lazarus Dokora, arguing he was responsible for the decline of education standards over the last few years in Zimbabwe.
But then he's been replaced by his deputy.
Yes, Paul Mavima. So it's a bit of pleasing the people, but not really pleasing the people, because he's saying, okay, if you don't want him, we're going to get rid of him and we're going to bring his deputy in. So it depends on how you're looking at it. If you're just looking for some kind of action, he's done something. But if you're looking at real action, he hasn't done anything. He's still towing the party line. And as a result of that, ZANU-PF's deputy Petronella Kagoni became Labour and Social Welfare Minister in place of Cleaver Natanyi, who becomes a special advisor to the President of National Peace and Reconciliation. So it looks like nothing has really happened, but
it's a job for the boys.
No. I'm looking, look, if we look at it realistically, the whole thing came about, this is just 10 days ago. So the whole thing came about when he was sacked.
Okay.
This is the crocodile.
Yes.
Was sacked. He then moved into a different country.
Emerson Mnangagwa.
Yes. And then there was,
the coup.
The coup, not coup.
Yeah.
And then he's back. But I think he needs a bit of time. There is this discussion where they're saying, he and Mugabe were one and the same. Mm-hmm. And therefore, but if he is taking over and there is a lot of Zimbabwean public
scrutiny.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of talking going on about what Zimbabwe needs now and what Zimbabwe wants, then this is the time for him to sit down carefully. Anyone who's been, this is like, at the moment, is a chess game. And a chess game actually is life. So at the moment, while everything is hot, he is doing a bit of a switch because people are not comfortable with. And yes, they should sack the education minister if there's problem with education. And it's everywhere, even here in this country where people have problems. Education is one of the biggest key jobs because, that's the only way where the country strengthens itself. You've got to educate the masses. So if that is the case, we need to give him a little bit more time. 10 days is not enough for him to... He did not know that he was even going to get into this position in the first place. So now that he is, we now have to look out there and pick the people that he thinks are suitable for the job.
No, I mean, I do share what you're saying, but what a lot of Zimbabweans are saying as well, the removal of or the resignation of Mugabe, they thought it was a new dawn in Zimbabwe where, as Ludwig said, there will be an inclusive government, bringing the opposition, former government, onto the general election, which is next year. So, but then he's come in and it seems as if the people that were there during Mugabe's time, or he's towing the same line as Mugabe, as it were.
No, I don't think. Well, of course, he will toe the line because that's what he knows. But I think with time, if you give him, I mean, even in America, anywhere in the world, there is the 100 days. And so in the 100 days of someone taking over, even whether voted for or usurped or whatever he did, it is about 100 days that determines what he has done.
His journey.
And so we need to give him some time. I think even the people themselves, they were sitting there all these years while Mugabe was ruling the roost. And 10 days, they want change. I can't see that possible. For me, I think he needs time, and he needs to look carefully at who can do the job to his specifications, I suppose, and then let's talk about it. Or even give him 50 days. 10 days is just too short.
Well, as the saying goes, start as you mean to go on.
That's it.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to
Oh,
our next
dear.
story. Kiki, now come to you. An Egyptian lawyer who's known for making controversial statements has been sentenced to 3 years in prison in Egypt.
Astounding. I am absolutely astounded. And this is a lawyer. So does that mean that there's no human rights in Egypt? That he doesn't know what is going on in the world regarding rape at this time? How can he make such a comment? I was so shocked. I thought, did he say this 5 years ago? Or did he say this recently? It's very serious that such a man is allowed to speak publicly anywhere. This is a man who does not believe that the Holocaust happened. I suppose with all the noise that the Jews make regarding Holocaust, he must believe that there's no slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a man who wants to kill any Israeli that he sees on the street. Why is he still alive? Why is he still walking? I just cannot. I am looking at the end.
Mind your words.
Yeah, well, because it's so serious. Rape is not just... Rape is a big thing. It is akin to murder.
The comments that he made was if anybody was to see a girl, a lady, a woman wearing ripped jeans, then they should more or less abuse them. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking in itself. Now, we have to move away from what the girl is wearing issue. It doesn't matter what a person wears. Leave them alone. They've got nothing to do with you. You cannot incite violence towards someone's dressing. Now, even in Egypt, they don't all wear the hijab. People walk about freely and wear whatever they want. Now, if he has an issue with ripped jeans, then he needs to be taken first to the mental asylum, and he needs some help before he's put in the prison.
I think it's people need to make this distinction that rapists don't rape clothes. No, they don't rape the clothing, do they? They rape people. So there has to be that, some people, toe in between, like, well, it's a clothing
because
that's
she's wearing.
Yeah, but you're not raping the clothes. You're raping people, so you can't
he's
use.
A lawyer, though.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And looking at this situation, it must be a plus for Egypt. I mean, even on this show, we've seen some cases where women have been punished, but and Egypt is seen as the land. If you don't know the laws of the land, if you go against it, you be punished.
Yes.
And sometimes people think it tends to favor the men.
Yeah.
However, for somebody with his caliber as a lawyer as well, being sentenced to jail, is Egypt heading the right way?
I think they're heading the right way, but it also probably shows the thinking of the lawyer to live in that mindset that I am a lawyer. Yes, I'm on TV. I'm a public speaker. I've got respect, and maybe the judiciary are men, and do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. It's like a men's club.
Yeah.
So
he is as you say, correct, because he said he is described as a prominent conservative.
All right. So with that thinking, it is probably from the base that I can say what I say.
like.
This is what we really believe in, but we don't really say in public, kind of thing. And I think that's where maybe for Egypt, it's good for them to be seen as actually advocating on women's behalf. But which was a bit different from last week, the story that we spoke about. But I guess in very serious terms, you can't be.
This is more or less inciting.
Yeah, you're inciting violence.
You are inciting violence,
and you're meant to defend people. So if you had if you had a client that said they raped somebody because of what they were wearing, would you defend them? I mean, where is he coming from? So good for Egypt for making sure that they're keeping up with international standards and how women are treated across the world.
I think this is one step for Egypt. I will not applaud them as yet, because I think
we're applauding them on this
issue.
On this issue,
I mean, yeah, but Egypt really needs to pull up its
pants.
Yes, I would have said socks. But yes, because this is when he says protecting morals is more important than protecting borders. What does he mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, but that goes to the heart of the belief of the conservatism, which is, you're meant to cover up and you're supposed to look a certain way. And times have moved on, and people are still stuck in certain generations or certain time frames where they're not comfortable with certain things, and they will speak how they saw things when they were growing up, or the values that they've held. And like I said, rapists don't rape clothes, they rape people. So if you're going to rape someone because of what they're wearing, well, you're raping the person. So you need to.
It's a good message that hopefully has been sent across, so hopefully people will be more careful as to how in which they come out to say make some ridiculous statement. Let's move on to our next story that's making the headlines across the continent. And we've been talking about Mugabe, but Mugabe wasn't the first to go.
No.
Last year, it's been exactly 1 year since the Gambian president Yahya Jammeh was deposed after losing the election. And I remember so vividly. This was last year, wasn't it? 2016, when he had lost the election. And he did a broadcast where he accepted the defeat, in which everybody, myself included, thought, okay, this is good. He's bowing out gracefully. And then everything just turned around. Yeah. So 1 year post Yahya Jammeh, and then we also see President Mugabe.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. The time has flown by quite quickly. I forgot all about the Gambia stuff, I guess because I'm not living in Gambia. So I've forgotten all about that. But yes, I remember, he came, accepted it, and there was a bit of a shock because I think everybody was expecting there to be some kind of resistance that, okay, this guy is not going to go. So when he came and he did the video, the telecasting thing, and told everybody this is what's happened, and then all of a sudden, I think a couple of days after, he was back to say he's not going to do that. There need to be a judicial review. People were fleeing the country. And then obviously, the African Union put some pressure on him.
ECOWAS.
Kofi Ali. Kofi Ali flew to, only joking, he didn't fly to Gambia. But ECOWAS put some pressure on him. They were going to fly some troops there. If I'm correct, wasn't there like a refusal of some troops not being allowed into Gambia, or am I confusing that with another country?
What happened was ECOWAS were ready to send in the army.
Yeah.
I think Ghana even deployed the army to try and go in but the Gambian army did not want to get involved.
They were not interested.
So in the end, I think they struck a deal and Yahya Jammeh took a huge sum of money.
And Mr. Barrow came in.
And
it's a year on, and I think the new president is saying, look, yes, we've got we've had a year now, but we need some more time. There's a lot of things to be done, and it sounds like he's sounding the right tones, because it's true. He's been in charge for Jamal was in charge for 22 years.
Yeah.
So like you said, he's had more than 10 days.
Yeah, he's had more than 10 days.
He's had more than 10 days.
And he's had a whole year, and he's still telling them that. So that's but I'm more interested in my good friend who left and then decided no, he didn't want to go, and then he eventually left. He's now been seen in a farm. He lives in Guinea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
And he was last seen clearing some farmland. So he's acquired a vast land, and he's clearing.
He's farming.
Yeah. And I think it's a good thing.
It's very therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
after 22 years, you need to just...
All right, you're listening and watching Talk Africa with me, John Sewell. We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion, and we'll have a one-on-one interview with a young man who went to Libya and in the end was able to make it out. When we come back, we'll find out how he got to Libya in the first place. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If you could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
I love social media. I mean, I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. Talk Africa is the program that brings you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. And today in the studio, as I said earlier on, I've been joined by a young man who was captured and then enslaved in Libya. He's experienced it. He's about to share with us his story of what happened to him when he was in Libya. His name is Provi. Thank you very much for joining us this morning in the studio. Provi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And
good.
what
You're looking
about
well. Thank
God for help.
We are live on Sky Channel 291. We're also streaming live on Facebook, GNTV UK, also on Talk Africa. You can go onto our page and you can send your comments. If you have any questions for Provide this morning, make sure to send in your questions. Okay, we'll put your questions to him. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203 286 0185. 0203-286-0185. If you want to ask, provide any questions, all right, we'll give you the opportunity to ask him questions. We all know what's been going on in Libya right about now and what's been going on for the past few weeks or so since the story came out with regards to what's going on with young migrants being auctioned off as slaves, which has caused a huge uproar across the world and also very, very much so on social media. So make sure you get your thoughts and comments coming in. Thank you very much once again, Provide, for joining us. Before we start anything else, I think it would be good for you to give us a bit of your background story. You are a Liberian. Yep. You grew up in Liberia. Yep. You was there during the war.
Yep.
So if you can just tell us a bit of your background.
First of all, I want to say thanks for having me on here. And my reason of me being here is not to get any attention from social media or anyone out there, but to be able to contribute towards the help of our brothers and sisters that are stranded in Libya there. Provide, I was born and brought up in Liberia, and I experienced the 14 years to 15 years of civil war, and I was victim of it as well. And my family, I'm from a native background.
Yeah.
And after 14 years of civil war, I had to travel out to find a way of me surviving to be able to make the difference within my family.
Provide, please come a bit closer to your microphone so people on the radio can also hear you. Yes, okay. Carry
on. After 14 to 15 years of civil war, I had to travel out, spoke to my parents, look, after these trauma and horror, I can't be able to stay in the country because of what I have experienced here, and we all have experienced it. And this is a country that's going to take a long time to build itself. So I got to travel out to be able to find a work to do or maybe follow my career. Because after these years, there was nothing left for Liberian people to be able to build that stuff on. And the only thing I had to do was to find myself, who I am, and what can I do to be able to make the difference with the rest of the life that I got. And that's how I decided to travel out of Liberia and went over to Libya.
Okay. So after that, because when the story broke about Libya, we wanted to dig deeper, see how the migrants, where they met. In your case, trying to get to Libya, what was the process? Who did you contact? How did you make that contact? Where did you meet them? Did you know the person?
For me, in my case, I won't lie to you, and I'm here to speak the truth to be able to help our brother out. I left Liberia alone, and the time I went over to Libya, it was a little bit stable.
Okay.
And there was a little bit of understanding there. So I traveled alone and going through Libya, and I just want to raise up a point that it's not just Libya alone that are doing all these things there. All the country you find around North Africa there, the Morocco, the Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, these are people that don't respect us as black people. And Algerian people, I will bring up their name because I saw what they did.
Okay, well, we will come to that. We will come to that. But I just wanted to know, because you made that same perilous journey as a lot of the migrants have done. So I just wanted to know, first and foremost, who did you get in contact with to try and get you over to Libya? And did you know them?
I never got in contact with anyone. I traveled alone and I passed through Algeria. That's why I raised the point of Algeria. I passed through Algeria and went over to Libya. And I was able to, several times I was arrested. The first time I was caught up from Algeria to Libya, you have your document. These people don't even care if you got a proper document. They just grab you like the way you grab a street dog and just put it in a cage. That's how they would just grab you. They don't care. Once they don't understand you, they don't want to know what you're saying. They'll just grab you, put you in a cage, and go drop you in the middle of nowhere, isolated area.
Okay, so you made the journey yourself.
Yep.
You went through to Algeria. Okay, and then when you go to Algeria, what happened there?
When I went to Algeria, the first thing, there are people within, Bamako, which is Mali.
Yeah.
People in Niger, they are the one that are transporting people in the desert. They would deceive you that, oh, I'm taking you over to Algiers. They will keep y'all to reach a certain amount, and then they can be able to like put you in like a hailers pickup, maybe 25 person in one squeezing little pickup to put you in there and go and drop you in the middle of nowhere. And when they drop you to these places, they won't tell you this is where we're taking you. But once they have taken your money, they drop you in the middle of nowhere. And I saw dead people in the desert, more than 20 people. You will see them lying down, all dried under the sun, and their family don't know their whereabouts. But who doing these things? Before we can get to the Libyan, who taking them there?
Okay, so all right, if I understand what you're saying is people that are trying to get across to Libya, whether from Niger, from Nigeria, from Ghana, they get to a point, they get to a pickup point where you have people there who say to them that we can get you across to wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And then they take their money and then they leave them stranded in the desert in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. That's what happened. And most of the people that I met along the way, like Ghanaian, like Nigerian, they have people within Italy, people within France that would send money to they got a name for it called Bugger. They call them Bugger, which is the one that going to take group of guys or girls and put them in a car and bring them in the middle of nowhere. They would deceive these people like, yo, there is a work in Italy or in France, and I got my relative over there that needs someone to work for me. Most of those guys that I met along the way. And once they send these money to these guys in Nigeria and Ghana, in these places, they will go like deceive people. Like you will be working, doing a nice job. Some of the guys that I met along the way, they were regretting why they had to leave their job. But because they were deceived by their own brothers, telling them that, oh, sorry, just a second.
That's fine. That's fine. Just take your time.
They would tell their brothers that, oh, I got my relative in France or in Italy, and they need someone to work. I want you to come over. And you're looking for a better life because you're stranded in Africa than just doing one thing over and over. But we got to be grateful with the little thing we have. We got to be content with little things that we get every day. So, like that, they would take them into Mali, into Niger, place called Gatron, they got different names. It's been a while, so I forget these names. They would take them to these places. This is pickup point, and you will see one guy carry more than 20 person into that desert, and they have these drivers that are there. We call them Busu. Busu, they are like Chadian from Chad and Sudan, all those places. The tag, those kind of hair tie around their head.
Yeah.
So they the one understand the desert, and sometimes crossing the Sahara Desert it take like a week. If you get missing, everyone would just stay right there and die. And they won't tell you that I'm carrying you to the first village in Algeria or to the first village somewhere around Libya. They won't tell you that. You'll put them in a pickup, they carry them in the middle of nowhere and say, yo, stay right here, the car got a little problem, we want to go service it, and they will leave you there, they're gone. And after 10 hours of waiting, group of men and women, girls and boys part of one place, after 10 hours of waiting, they can't get no head until the next thing, everyone going to start taking their own way. And that's how you find lots of dead body in the desert. We look at the ones that survive in Libya right now, but the one that die in the desert, almost more than 50 to 60 people die in our desert every day.
Okay. All right. Just so we get a proper picture of how things were or things are. So you're saying that there is more or less like an agency.
Yes.
Where, because we've heard of these adverts of you can go to this country to make money, to get a better job, to get a better life. So you're saying that what happens is these people, they have people in France and Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. And they pick, like you could have a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, somebody from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
And these guys will go to the country telling people that it's a better opportunity for them.
Definitely.
So then they take them to these points. So these points you mentioned in Niger.
Yeah. They got Gatron, Duluku, that is in Niger area. That's the main point.
That's the main hub point where. So when they go there, that's when they meet somebody, and then the person tells them that this is where we're taking you.
Definitely.
And then they dump them somewhere.
Yep. Sometimes if the drivers have good heart, they will take you to a village where they know that y'all can be able to get another driver from there again. But bit by bit like that. And you will see 16 years old girl on their way, 20 years old girl on their way that don't have any experience about traveling but surviving on one person, got hope in one person, which is that bugger that carrying them.
That's the person who promised them the better life.
Definitely.
And what does that person do? Did they take their money off of them? What did they do?
The first thing, people that in Italy, or like the agency that there sent money over to them, they would now go over to Nigeria. They would tell you pay this, or go to Ghana, or go to Mali, or go to Senegal, wherever, and tell you, say, pay this. So they won't tell you, oh, I got such a person, I gave me the amount to carry you. They would take extra money from them. Some of them pay like $500, $600, and get in those cars to be able to make their way over to Libya. And at the end, they get stranded in the middle of nowhere. And when they get over to Libya, they have no choice. They realize that they're already in the middle of the desert. If they having to make it that far, when they get over to Libya, this bugger now tell them, say, look, we are here and we're going to cross you through the boat. But this is what you got to start doing to be able to survive until we can be able to get to Italy. And that's how people cross through boat. And Libya is a country where they don't even understand. The Libyans don't even understand who they are. They don't see themselves as black people. They see themselves as European. They don't have respect for you. They are not civilized. I'm telling you right here, right now. They are not civilized people to be able to communicate with you properly. Everything is in an aggressive way. So if you get over to these people country, they don't have no respect for you. And thanks to the Italian people, they have tried their best a lot to be able to take on black people.
Okay, all right. Now let's come back to you. Let's come back to you, your journey. So you got left in is it Bamako?
I got over to Bamako.
You went over to Bamako. You talked about your experience. So you said that you were in a pickup truck.
Yeah.
With about how many people?
We were about 25 people in a little pickup.
People.
Yeah, at the back of it.
Okay. And where did you get dropped off?
We got dropped off to a village somewhat around Algeria called, if I'm not mistaken, it would be God.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. When you got there, what happened? Who did you meet?
I met no one. The first thing the driver would tell you, you see that light that will arrive there, maybe in the desert, early morning, and the desert is like an ocean.
Yeah.
You're looking on top of it, you can't see the ending. But if you see an object, you would think that it's closer. And this driver would tell you that is Libya there, or that is Algeria, and go straight, follow that light you're seeing out there. And we walk more than 8 hours walking. And when we got over to this place, it was a dead village. If I mean dead, there is nothing there for you to do. These are villages around there where these people are just looking for something to eat themselves. And no work there for you to do. They will drop you there, another driver is there, but it's all arrangement between them. Another driver is there ready to take money off you. So when they drop me there, I look at it, and they don't respect English passport there. Once you are from English speaking country, they don't respect that. But if you can speak a little bit of French, they can be able to accept you. Maybe if you're from Mali, they can be able to accept your passport going up to Algiers. So I look at it, I was like, okay, I'm in the middle of nowhere. What can I do? I had to change my route to go over to Libya. And when
So initially you were going to Algeria.
Mm-hmm.
You got there and they didn't want to know. So you had to change your route.
You got to change your route, yep.
To go to Libya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is Talk Africa with me, John Zewa. We're here with Provi. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. We'll be right back.
Okay, right.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, facts, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trending videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Do you know where we are?
And waking up every morning like it's just another day.
We can try again. You have to fight.
I have fought.
Not walk away whilst I'm still talking to you. You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If we could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Sewa. If you just joined us, we're having a one-to-one chat with a young man who went to Libya. On his way to Libya, he was captured and enslaved. His name is Provai. Provai has been giving us information on insight as to how he began his journey and what happened. And before we went on the break, Provai, you was touching on the fact that you wanted to get into Algeria, but then they weren't happy with the fact that maybe you have an English passport. So then you decided to go to Libya.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I had to change my route and face Libya because I was doing research along the way. And Libya was one of the countries that you could get a proper wage at that time.
What year was that?
That was around 2008 to 9.
Okay.
And the reason I'm talking all of this is my personal life, and this is something that was terrifying. But I feel like it's
just
time.
Move your mic up a little bit for me.
I feel like it's time for us to be able to I couldn't speak about it because I thought if I talk about this, who cares? At the end of the day, it would be just me. So now all these things that happen, I'm like, let me be able to come out and talk and see how my own experience can be able to make the difference in other people's life, because people would know where to tackle to be able to help people out of there. And I took the route to Libya, and when we got over to Libya, the first village in Libya, we never knew if it was just a village or if it was a city, because these drivers not going to tell you where you're going. They will deceive you. And when we got there, we got arrested right in the desert. Like, they just caught us and want to put us into one unfinished building with a big living room. And when we got there, I met like 150 people, that almost 40 something.
Why did they arrest you?
No reason. Where you going? I'm going to Libya, Tripoli. And where's your document? Nothing like that. Well, they just want to know where you're going. Once they hear that you're going to Libya, they just grab you and put you in a cage and say, "Ma fi mushkila." That's the only thing, no problem. Ma fi mushkila. They put you in a cage, go and drop you in the middle of nowhere. And we were, like, the people we met there, they were like 40 some more. And we were traveling along. There's some people, because I left some people like around Algeria, and I met some people along the way as well.
Yeah.
And we was around 20, and we met 40 something people there. So we were like 150, but they will always separate the women from the men.
Okay.
So the girls go different places. Y'all don't know what happened to them. They somewhere else. The men somewhere else. That's our country. So we got in there, and I asked these guys, like, how long you been here? Some of them said 6 months. Some of them said 5 months. But their embassy don't know anything about them being there. No one know about their being there. Only the Libyan that took them there, they didn't want to know about it. And I joined them, and I was there. Like, you hoping they come in telling that enter Moseshfa. And then call enter Moseshfa, which is I call your embassy.
Okay.
Yeah, they say everything will be okay. Mafi mushkila gamis. Inshallah, show your best. By the grace of God, just little time you'll be out of here. And that little time you were 6 months gone, 7 months gone. The first time I tried to escape, these are more than 6 or 7 people.
I just want us to take everything step by step, okay? So don't.
No worries.
I know you really want to tell us.
No worries.
So they didn't give you any information as to why you were arrested.
No.
So whilst you were in there, what did you have to do?
We part up in there. We were like 50, 150, going to 60 men. We part up in there. The first thing, you don't have a proper water to get a bath.
Is it a detention center that they sent you in, or was it a prison? What was it? If you can just describe that for us.
It's not a prison. It's not a detention center. It's just an isolated area. They just keep you there where you have to pay a ransom to be able to free yourself. If you got money, they will let you out. Okay. If you don't have money, you just stuck in there. So some friends that we knew, they will manage to be able to contact guys that are outside cooking to be able to call someone for them control. That will say, can you control this person for me from Ghana or from Nigeria? And those people, when they send money, manage to send money over to Tripoli, and they was gave account number a certain way, and you can be able to get that money. And people started leaving there one after the other, but we were just stuck in there because we never had anyone to have our back. The only person that had my back was God. You know what I'm saying? So it was something that was going on and on. We don't have a proper bath water. We would go a week without getting any water to bath. And the water, if you manage to get a water, it looking brown like the dust itself. And you would save that in a mineral bottle, put like 2, 3 for drinking. You save that in your bag. You don't care about bathing because water is the most important thing. So, and what they're feeding you with is just this long like French bread with cup of tea in the morning. So I look at it like, if I'm drinking this for more than 6 months, I'm going to be a dead man. I'm going to get out of here with diabetes. So I started doing a little bit of exercise to stay healthy, all of that. But there was no better condition there. We were suffering. If you could put your mind on it, you will go skinning in a week. We sleep at the same place every day, wake up. It's a squeezer area, not something where you go to bed. We put our shirt and bags down and laid our head on it and lied on our cold floor. Like that. From 6 months, 7 months, going on and on. You hoping, but every day they will come and tell you the same thing. Inshallah, Bukla, by the grace of God, tomorrow. Ane Kalamenta, Moseshfa. And to feel what they will come and ask you, do you have paper? That's the time they ask you, yes, we have paper. We have paper. What are you thinking? Okay, your embassy coming tomorrow, inshallah. Every day, that's what you hear, inshallah. Osbud, Shwiya. And they come in and beating the hell out of you. If y'all would be part of like there's more than 6 person on one little board of spaghetti, and y'all will be eating that. They will be beating the hell out of you. And some of our hope will only in God to get out of there, and that's why I'll go out of there.
Okay. I've got a message from Joyce. Joyce is saying that, can you please tell us your day-to-day experiences?
Our day-to-day experience, we wake up in the morning, 6 in the morning to 7 in the morning, to come and wake you up to count you every day. That's what it will do, to see if one person escaped. They will open our big door, it's a gate, they put chain on it, and we just part up in there and spotting through the glasses and the bar, the window bar. And it's from one living room to another living room. They will bring their spaghetti, they'll pot it like the way you put dog food down, 1, 2, 3, and there was 6 men outside to count you up, push you out, y'all go and sit down and eat that spaghetti. All of you that will count you like this. First, y'all will come out 20 in numbers, you'll sit down, put your leg together, curl up, and then make sure the count that number is correct. Then they say, okay, 6 person on this food, you'll go and eat. But that is a food that 3 men can just eat and be okay, but that 6 person gonna eat that. No salt, no pepper, it's just spaghetti with tomato on it. That's all you get.
So you're saying you keep people there to try and get them to pay money before they can let them go.
That's the only reason.
What if somebody couldn't afford to pay the ransom that they're asking for? What will happen?
They're asking for a ransom. If you don't have it, you're in there. But every day they're beating you, torturing you, for you to be able to do something, putting pressure on you to be able to make a call. And you keep telling them that I don't have anyone that will have my back. But they say you're lying. Every day they're beating the hell out of you. Put you outside, they will call you, yo, come here. They carry you outside and they will torture you, beat the hell out of you.
Were there any children?
No, in our department, we never had any kids there. It was all men, but we could hear the women from another side. And those women, some of them had kids. Okay. We could hear them crying. But you can't see them.
Yeah.
We don't see one another. There are some guys that travel with their family, like wife and kid. Mm-hmm. But they're separated in 6-7 months. They're not even seeing their wife or their kid. They don't know if they are okay or not. But we could hear women talking on the other side.
Because since these slavery issues, people being auctioned off as slaves in Libya came out, there were reports that suggested that people were being held as captives and then being asked to pay money for their release. If not, then this is how they end up being auctioned off as slaves. So if what happened to you some years ago was to happen now, you probably would have been been auctioned off as a slave.
Yes, the reason that they didn't happen at that time because there were no means of them doing that because there was structural government at that time. Yeah. But right now, they are all rebels. Okay. And these are means of them getting a fund to be able to carry on their dirty act. They are down there. Right. So, yeah.
Okay, you touched on that you wanted to escape. You tried to escape at one point, but you couldn't make it.
I couldn't make it at the first point because every time we try to escape, there will be something else. We will see lots of police. We don't know. Someone will leak her out. We don't know. And the first time I tried to escape, more than like 6 to 7 men were over me like they were with the cow tail, beat the hell out of me. I was lying there with my head between my legs, and I was screaming for help. These guys then beat me. Like 10 to 15 minutes, they were beating me. And the rest of the guys were my friends that were inside shouting, y'all leave him before y'all kill him, y'all leave him, y'all leave him. But they were beating me, they were certified, and they held me by my leg and dragged me back inside and locked the gate. They were out. And it was like that all the time. But still, God make a way for us to escape.
We will come to that very, very soon. How many the people that you were in there with, were they Ghanaians, Nigerians, Cameroonians?
We had like 1 Gambian, 2 Liberian, and another, let's say, guy. He was half and half Nigerian, Liberian. So we were 3 Liberian, and the rest of the people were Ghanaian and Nigerian.
And speaking to the people that were there, what was their story? Did they have the similar story, same as you? Because you were trying to make it to Algeria. Then you decided to go to Libya. What was their story?
their story, most of them that I were close to and we had conversation, most of them were working guys from Ghana, from Nigeria, and that is the first village in Libya. So when a driver make mistake like that, and it's not the only village, there are different entry points. So when a driver make mistake like that, sometimes they will end up somewhere else, and that's how they end up in that village that I was. But that is a village that closer to Algeria, and most of them were working guys from Ghana, from Nigeria, working men and women, but they were deceived and they were taken out there. And every day, these were things that they used to regret. I wish I knew. If I go back to Nigeria or Ghana, I see this person, I would do this to them, I would do that to them. Because those were people that deceived them and took them into the desert.
So these people, they were working people. So the narrative of people selling off their land, or people who are poor trying to get across to Libya, is not that true, because we do have people who actually can afford.
Yeah, some people can afford, and some people don't have it, but they want to travel to be able to make a better life for themselves. So it wasn't everybody, but most of them that I spoke with, they were working guys, and some of them were just guys that don't have family but trying to make a better life for themselves. Guys that came from the same situation that I came from as well. So yeah, there were different mixture of people there.
Okay, so obviously you here with us this morning, you managed to escape. Tell us through that process. Talk us through that process. Because you tried at one point, you didn't make it, you were beaten. So surely you would have been... It's normal to be fearful of trying to escape again. The first time they beat you, the second time, if you're captured, again, you don't know what will happen to you.
You know, when there are certain situations, we are all human beings, there are certain situations when you are in, you have to fight for your life, especially when you see that the person that holding you down there keeps saying the same thing over and over. That fear of death would be out of your mind. And it was an everyday thing that we used to plan, but it won't work out. So we decided not to plan anything anymore. So we said, whatever happened, it happened. But for me, with my experience from back home and going through 14 years of civil war, I've seen the worst of worst. I've seen horror. So that fear wasn't in me anymore. So it was something that was always in my mind and always looking for a way out. So I used to observe the security, who is rough and who is kind. I used to observe them. So it was a day that it was early in the morning. Normally we got 6 people always on duty, and it's always sunny. That's desert. We're talking about never see one day rain. So they would go at the top of the roof to get fresh air in the night. But then that day, it was 2 guys who were on duty. 2 guys were on duty. It was one old man and it was one young guy. And this guy... Yeah.
All right. It was one old man and one young guy. We're here with Provide. Provide is giving us an insight as to what happened to him when he went to Libya after being captured. Okay, he's giving us his story and also giving us an insight as to what really goes on. This is Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We're going on a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Next time, not joke with no nuts family. I am it. Afira.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talented case, you go see one kid, you can't stay top. He do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat. The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Snippet has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, fact, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malon Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trending videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome back and good morning. If you just joined us, we're joining the studio by a young man who was captured in Libya and enslaved. With the issue of migrants being auctioned off as slaves in Libya, it was only right that we got in touch with this young man for him to share his story, to give us a bit clearer and better understanding of what it is like to be a migrant caught up in Libya. Just to remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook. Go onto our Facebook page, GNTV UK or Talk Africa, to leave your comments on there. I will read your comments out. You can also call into the studio if you want to provide any questions. That's the young man's name. Now, before we went on the break, you were talking about how you managed to escape. Now, before that also, if you hear stories of the migrants who have been released, some of them have been saying that some people get killed, people get treated badly, people have been tortured, as you mentioned. In your experience, was there any given moment where you saw somebody being killed?
It was a day that we were eating, and I don't know what this young dude did, and this policeman came from like behind him, because normally they would just slap you for no reason. So this guy was eating, and this guy just knocked the button out the back of his head, and he fell right up on the floor where we were all eating. He just started like stretching his leg, and blood was coming from his nose. Right away, that period told us to like get in. It was like they were all in a shock, because it was right in front of us. There was no way they could hide it. And they put us back in. We left our food. We never like completed eating. They put us back in a rush. And they said they were carrying this guy to hospital, but we didn't see him again. And we all knew that he was killed when we asked them. They said, Osgood, shut up. So on, and we all spoke to ourselves. We said, but if we stay here like this, these people will keep killing us one after the other. Because sometimes they will come with a pickup like that. If they have a job somewhere, they will be like, 1, 2 with me, 1, 2, 3 to get in, to go and do that work. Y'all go and do it, but y'all ain't getting any payment.
So they were actually picking people up to go and work?
Yeah. They will pick you up, go and work, bring you back in. But if y'all go work like that, they have like 3 guys standing over you, like after you, and they give you decals and stuff to be able to, sometimes it breaks, you're going to carry that breaks the whole time.
So
it will be for one of their commander house projects, something like that. And when it's done, to bring you back in. At the end of the day, they gave you like a bread and put you back in. So we used to talk to ourselves like, if we stay here like this, these guys going to keep killing the one after the other, because they don't like to see you like questioning them. It make you the bad one among them. But still, you have to ask them, what am I doing here? You're hoping to be deported, but you're not being deported. If I'm being kept here for no reason, then let me be free, because I got papers. And this is Africa. They don't want to like hear about that. So it was this day that these two guys were on duty. It was one old man and one young guy. So early in the morning, that was in our waking up time. It was around 5 going to 6. This dude, he just wanted to act wicked, but it was something a guy planned. And he just came, started banging on the door so everyone can wake up. We were all like, what? We were hoping that it was going to be information to say, yo, go in a car and we're going to deport you. So we were all like, what's going on? It was surprising, you know. And this dude came, open the gate. He just started beating people to go outside. And every day I used to like, anytime they put me outside, I would wear my underwear and my papers and put in my pocket. I always have that just in case of anything. So when he pulled out that money, line all the same normal way, and I was sitting towards the door. There was a Gambian guy and there was this Nigerian guy. The Gambian guy was one. He always sit down alone because he was one Gambian, and we were 3 Liberian, then the rest of it Ghanaian, like that.
Oh, okay. So everybody in there, you were all in groups?
Yeah, we were all like in group, but the pusher like 20.
Okay.
And then, but it was Ghanaian, Nigerian.
All right.
And then few, the 3 Liberian. So that's how they used to pull up. And when you're in the living room, you can see outside. And the house is in a fence, and the fences are high, like maybe, let's say 20 feet high. So you can see the height of the fence, and you can see that it's a desert. But we used to be through the window and spotting in the town. You can see the town far away, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes running. If you was to do jogging, it would be like that kind of distance. So this dude, he was inside busy beating people to come outside to get in a queue to count them. And this old man was standing to the door, but he wasn't facing, or he was facing straight towards the fence.
The old man was what? One of the guards?
He was one of the guards, and he was standing right there with a pistol on his side. So looking at him, and there is this Nigerian guy too. He had mind like me, which is heart like me. And he always want to do something. So he and I, we always like, we need to do something. So he's a Slam guy, Yoruba guy. So the both of us, we were kind of looking at one another. We're like, we ain't seeing anyone else. These are just 2 guys on duty. So let's try and do something. If what's supposed to happen, let it happen. If man's supposed to be killed, let man be killed, you know, because it was up to a year now. Being there, it was up to a year, and we were all exhausted. We know that there is no head until out of it.
At this point, you've been in that place for a year.
For a year. For no crime. Nothing. We being kept there. And this guy, I was watching him. Anytime we going outside, we always give each other that kind of look. So he was on his hand like this because he was like right next to me. He claimed to be, not claimed, but half and half. So I call him like, half and half, like, it was a nickname. I was be like half and half, but he's a Liberian and Nigerian. So anytime we go outside, he always look at me and I look at him, look at me and I look at him. So he was like, we need to act right now. I could see that in his eyes, and he could see that in me. So the moment he was on his hand, and I already calculated the step that I could take to reach to that old man at the door, and I used all the strength that God gave me.
Hold on. Just pause for a minute, just to understand exactly the picture that you're painting here.
Mm-hmm.
So you were in a room.
Yeah.
The guard was there, was an old man. The younger guard was next door beating up other people.
He was inside beating people to wake up. People was angry. They didn't want it to come out because...
That wasn't the time you usually wake up?
Definitely.
Okay. So then, as you say, this guy, he's half and half Nigerian, half Liberian.
Yeah.
For some reason, you guys were able to make contact.
Contact with one another.
To know that You wanted to do something.
We should make a move.
Okay.
And because I already observed the security that always on duty, and that man, the old man, he's very soft. And I see how he walk, all the kind of stuff. I do observe him. But this young dude, he is the baddest one, always beating people, and he was the one that knocked the guy behind his head, the guy that died. And he was inside being horrible to people, like doing his normal thing, wickedness. And we were outside, we were like, but this is a window of opportunity. Let make use out of this. So when this Nigerian guy was on his hand, and I myself, I gave him that look, and that's how I already calculated the step that I could take to reach to that old man. Because I always try to be fit. I always do my press up and thing. Try jogging, jumping up, doing some squatting and stuff. So I know that I'm more fated than that old man. But what was there? It was the gun. And the time that he would take to pull that gun out, I know I will be on him. So I used the last strength and last braveness that God gave me. And I moved into that man. I had a piece of glass in my hand for almost a day. I never knew on my shoulder. I used him to open the glass door. The both of us, we fell outside. I can still remember everything. It's like a film always in my head. He fell outside. The glass, everything broke. I never thought about if this glass gonna break and caught me. There was no thought like that. And the only sound I heard behind me was a group of men making their way out. So those that could climb that fence were able to climb, which is, and if you climb in the tall fence, there are ways to climb them, which is just run step 1, 2, and be able to grab the top. And I was able to do that. I fell over the fence. All the guys fell over, and we that made it outside the fence were around 50. And I was running, and I never looked back. I never thought of any friend or relative or whosoever. I never thought of anything like that. I just started running in that desert with holding my pants. I had on singlet early in the morning with a tracksuit bottom with no flip-flop on my feet. I was running, just faced the town as you're looking at that building behind there. I was just going straight. I ran like 10 to 15 minutes, and it's a, let's say, smooth desert land where you can see whatever going on behind you can see. So when I turned back, I could only see like 3, 4 pickups. The guys are already called for backup. 3, 4 pickup were just picking up guys. Will just stop right by you, grab you. That's all I could see. And when I looked by my side, I saw this Nigerian guy and the other Liberian guy with a Cameroonian guy, not Cameroonian, but Gambian guy. And that's how we just head in the town, started running. And when we were closer to the town, I told them there would be trouble in the town today. We shouldn't stay in the town. Let's just pass through. And we were able to pass through the town. When I entered the desert again, stay in a rock, like a big rock was there. It was like a little cave. We wanted to stay in there the whole day, but we could hear the sound of police circulating around the whole town that day. And that was how we made it out of there.
Okay, if you just joined us, we're talking to Provide. Provide was captured and held in Libya. He's telling us his story, how he was able to free himself, how he was able to escape. That's why he's here this morning. I'm sure everybody's aware of the situation what's going on in Libya right now, and he's giving us an insight as to how what really happened is no different to what's happening to migrants in Libya as we speak right now. I think the only grace for him was at the time that it happened to him, Gaddafi was still in power. So just imagine if he was in Libya right about now being held as captive, he would have probably been one of those migrants being auctioned off as slaves. So you said about 50 of you guys were able to climb the fence. However, only is it 3 of you that actually made it, escape?
No, there were lots of guys that made it over in the town, but out of that 50 that make it over, it was an estimate, because when I look over the field, there were lots of guys on that stand. And later, when we all were able to see, some guys were like, oh, I saw such a person. So at the end do the day, we found out that it was around 20 to 30 people that was free. So the rest of the people that cut them right in the desert and took them back, and only God know what happened to them. But that whole day, they were arresting people. And those that make it outside, some of them went in like a ghetto. Because there, if you are from Ghana, Ghana have a ghetto, like a little place, small community. Yeah. Not even a community, like a house, everyone just piled up in there. and where y'all can get up in the morning, wash your face, go to the working area, we call it the sugar ground, which is where to pick up people for work. And that's how it was like Ghanaian got there on a ghetto, Nigerian got that ghetto. We were just too light, bro. We never had a ghetto. So later, after a week or two, we were able to see some guys that we were in there together.
Where did you stay then before you met, the Nigerians that took you in? Was it straight away after you escaped, or you had to, I don't know, stay somewhere and then you finally met these people?
When we went in the desert in the evening, it was around 8 to 9. And I told my friend, we can stay in the desert here the whole day, no water, no food. We don't have anything.
So when you escaped, you were still in the desert?
Yeah, we crossed through the town because we know there would be Kashkash, the Korea Kashkash. The police would just like get on the street, and the black man they see, they pick you up. And they want to see. And they have a place where people go to work. So they would just go there, catch any black man they see, they put in a cave and go replace them in that place that they were. Because there are numbers they want to be able to give to their commanders, so they don't want to make that mistake, so they do cash. And that's how we couldn't stay in the town. We had to pass through the town, go in the desert till everything would go quiet before we can come out. And we came out of us around 8 going to 9, and when we came out, we started walking by the side of the town. We were hearing Nigerian guys talking, and this guy had like a car wash, and this other Yoruba guy went over and talked to them and said, oh, we were the one that escaped today. Is there any way you can help us? And that's how these guys then took us in their car wash and thing. And we were staying there and started helping them out. And that's how we were able to make it out of that town. Later, generate a little money and then be able to move forward to the next town.
Okay, so how long did you stay in that town for?
I stayed in that town for like 3 months.
And what did you do? Were you working?
Helping these guys that had a car wash and stuff, because you couldn't take the risk to go to Sugar Ground, which is where to pick up people for work. They just come and pick up any black man and go carry you on their farm and take you back to that place. We used to call it Zanzu. Zanzu is like a prison, like a detention camp. So they would just take you to Zanzu, and you don't want to go there. So at the end, you will try to help out with anything your brother's doing. And the little change you get is just to be able to gather some money and go carry on your journey. And that was what I was able to do, to go to the next town.
And then what happened in the next town?
The next town, I was able to like carry on the same thing, do like a car wash with those guys, then generate a little money, and I went over to Tripoli.
Okay, so you finally made it to Tripoli.
I made it to Tripoli.
And it was Tripoli how you were treated differently to how you were treated in the
It was
other
always the same thing, my brother. Always the same thing. They don't respect you as a black man. They don't see themselves as African. When I go over to Tripoli, I go arrested again 3-4 times. It was on and on like that. They would just take a day, come out with their blue cage, and just see you as a black man. You don't see black girls outside. They're always in. They see you as a black man walking. It would just pack and grab you, carry you to a detention area. You pay. There were times upon time that I used to pay to get my freedom. They would just grab you like that and go keep you.
Okay. We're talking to Provide. Provide was a young man who was trying to get to Algeria, ended up in Libya. He was captured and enslaved. He was able to escape. And then he's talking us through, after escaping, moving from one town to the next town, and his experiences. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we give you the opportunity to call in to ask any questions that you want to ask Provide. This is Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Welcome to another edition of Switch HQ. That's right, my name is Ludwig Jr. and from now on you're going to see my shows coming to you straight from London exclusively. What, Roy? You're going to be seeing events from here, you're going to be seeing interviews.
Happy birthday, movies.
I think God listens to me a lot.
I'm good, thank you.
Exclusively.
Please, Lydia, first thing, keep what? Swish.
What if cities entertain? This is the mint they added to his Swiss HQ.
Hello, my name is Dorothy, Miss Face of Ghana UK 2016. And I'm Sharon Rose.
This is Mimi. I came to blah, 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 blah.
This is Ghana, man, so we're representing.
Swiss HQ, we say.
I'm just going to be in the crowd.
Alright, you already know, my name is SARKODIE, aka you know what time it is, aka Money No Big Problem, aka what else? Now stand up, you're watching Switch HQ. Woo!
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door? He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat. The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me today. Today we have a special guest in the studio. He goes by the name of Provi. Provi was a young man trying to make his way to Algeria. He wasn't accepted trying to get into Algeria, so he decided to go to Libya. He was just captured. He was then captured and enslaved, but he managed to escape. And he's giving us an insight. He's talking about his own story and also giving us an idea of how things are in Libya. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203-286-0185. 0203-286-0185. Now, Provi, you said you finally managed to escape. And you went to a town where you met some Nigerians that they took you in. You were doing car washing and what have you not. So, did you at any moment, at any point in time, did you contact your parents, your family, to let them know that you're safe, you're well, you're sound?
No, I couldn't do that because my family, I didn't want to worry them because I know that they don't have those money to be able to get me out of those places, and I knew where I came from, and I didn't want to worry them.
So you moved on. As you were saying before, we went on commercials. So you moved on from one town to the next town, and you're saying and this was in Tripoli.
Yeah.
Even in Tripoli, you could be walking around as long as you're black, you could easily be picked up and taken to work somewhere else.
That was a everyday routine for them.
And you have to work to pay for your freedom.
I had to. Anytime I worked, I always kept my money on me.
So you got paid for working?
Yeah, there are certain people. At that time, there was a little bit of structure. There are certain people. But some job you would do, they would tell you about it. Get out. You won't get paid. So any little work we do, you always have your money on you because you know that you could be caught here right now and you're not going to come back home. So that same money, you're going to use it to buy your freedom. It was like that constantly.
How much did you have to pay?
Sometimes they would tell you, give me 600 Libyan dinar at that time. They would tell you, give me 700 Libyan dinar. Whatever price they gave you, they never had a stable price. That's someone just messing around.
Okay, so I just want to understand this. So you could be walking out and about in Libya. You could be easily picked up.
That was a
and
common
then
thing.
You have to go and work. When you work, did they give the money to you?
Sometimes you would work the whole day, you won't get paid. Sometimes you would do a job for a week, hoping that you're calculating your money that, yes, you're going to get paid. At the end of the day, they will tell you about that.
What I'm trying to establish here is you're saying that you have to pay for your freedom.
Pay for your freedom, yeah.
Pay for your freedom. So who does the money go to? Is it the person that picked you up and took you to that job?
Sometimes the person that picked you up, he's a policeman, and he won't tell you that he's a police. He come in a like a normal clothes and just like, oh, I'm looking for a couple of guys to do work for me.
Right.
And sometimes when you're done working, some of my friends then, like, they went to work, it was a day they went to work, this man came and picked them up. There were 4 guys. And this man took them straight over to the detention camp. And that was something that happened everyday routine. And they had to buy their freedom. It happened to me, Sarah's time. And I have to buy my freedom. So we always wear something like a double pants to be able to keep your change on you just in case of anything to be able to buy your freedom. So you will work for a guy the whole day. He won't pay you. And you have to go home like that. A whole week, they won't pay you. Sometimes you would do like painting and decorating, all the kind of stuff for them, hoping that you're going to get paid. You won't get paid. At the end of the week, they tell you about it.
So how did you make the money to buy your freedom? That's what I wanted to know.
It's the little work that we used to do. Some kind hearted they would like be able to pay you. They would give you your money. They would say, oh, this is it. Sometimes you would do a job. It's like 40 Libyan dinar, and they give it to you because that's a little change. That was around like $30 or $35. They would give it to you, and those are the money that you keep in little by little. But if you meet the wrong ones, they would just take you. And it was a common thing for them. The police, when they want to like use you, they won't pay you. They would just come and pick you up, come in a color clothes, use you. So it's the police that always used to do that. But the normal like civilian, they won't do that. But almost everyone was police in the country.
Yeah.
So that was a common thing for them to do. They would just come, pick you up. You're going to work for them at the end. You won't get paid.
Now, speaking to you before we came on air a few days ago, you did mention that your brother too was in the same position where he was captured and he had to work for his freedom as well.
Yeah.
If you've been in that predicament, why will then your brother also go through the same thing that you've been through, or go into the same country that you've been through and go through this outrageous situations that you went through?
Because we was in communication. He never knew my word about at that time, and at that time mobile phone wasn't just everywhere like that.
So the both of you were in Libya, but in different parts.
No, I left.
Oh, you left
Yeah,
and he'd gone.
I left when I went back home. Later, I heard that he was there.
All right.
Later, I heard that he was there, and that's how. But then, it was like an everyday thing, the same thing for him, and you got no choice. And the thing about Libya that people don't understand, the reason I'm here, that we're talking all of this, is that Libya, once you enter Libya, you are trapped. You can't take the same journey going back out of Libya. You can't. And you can't be brave to enter the desert. You know what you saw on the way. And there is no transport from Libya to say there is no like direct road to carry you out of Libya or to enter Libya. It's through the desert. So people that are in Libya, they are trapped.
Okay, fine. How did you make it back home? Did you go back to Liberia?
Yes, I was able to generate little money, little saving, and went to my embassy and talked to them and say, I want to get out of here. I need to get out of here. Because it was something that I couldn't bear. Yes, I'm getting little money, but you can't bear being kidnapped and being kept somewhere for a week or two. You have to buy your freedom, because when they take you to these places, you won't just pay them right away. You want to see what they want to do. So you will hold on and tell them that I don't have money. You're begging them to see if they will let you be free, but you stay there 1-2 weeks, you can't bear. You will start to talk to them to be able to buy your freedom, and that's how it will be. And it was always like that. So I look at it, it was something where I can't be living my life in fear, because I already lived in fear before. You go in outside, once you're stepping out of that door, you don't know what's going to happen the next minute. So I had to like get out of there. But there were people that had no choice but to cross through the river, and there were or the ocean, and there were people there that were doing the connection for them, both the Libyan and the connection guys, sometimes Ghanaian, sometimes Nigerian, sometimes Cameroonian. They the one used to do the connection to help people out of there, because once you enter Libya, you are trapped.
Okay, now let's touch on what's happening right now. You've given us your story, what happened to you, experiences. We've heard that some of the migrants have been taken back to the various countries, and but a lot of people are also skeptical, because people are saying that the migrants that have been taken back home are the migrants in the government's detention centers. How about the migrants who are, for example, where you were kept?
Yeah, this is something that I want really for to talk on, because social media, though people are protesting out there to get the people out of there, but we only know about the ones that are in Tripoli in a government detention camp. But the ones Libya is a big country. It got lots of villages and lots of detention camp. And these rebels have lots of our brothers and sisters in different places, selling them out, making them to work. And no one know about them being there. Embassy don't know about them being there. Those that are being taken back home are people that are in Tripoli in the government detention camp that our government African Union can be able to look at and say, oh yeah, these are the ones, but they are not. There are many of them stuck in the middle of nowhere, where I was, no one, not even my embassy would know that I'm there. So they are stuck all around Libya, and we should be thinking about how we can be able to, how our country can be able to send people in there to see how best they can save them, because there is no other way they could get out of there. And they will never get a phone call, and this rebel not going to tell them that, oh, your embassy is in Tripoli and they are sending people back home. They're not going to tell them. Like those places that man with a camera, this guy, this YouTuber was going and filming most of them. He filmed a pickup taking off and carrying a group of guys through the desert. Yeah. Those places, you don't see those people. You don't know where they're taking them. So the few that are in Tripoli, we shouldn't forget about the rest that are stuck all around Libya, because Libya is very big. And these guys, right now, during that time, there was a little bit of structure and talking about now, and I was going through those kind of torture, talking about now. These are rebels. They don't have no, like, sense of reasoning.
No compassion.
Or compassion. They would just keep them anywhere. And this is what's going on. So those that are closer to the government side, these are ones that we see on camera. But Libya, more than 1,000 people enter that country almost every week. Look at the people that cross through Italy, then you understand what I'm talking about. So they are stuck all around there. So if a plane was to go into Tripoli and take like 50 people out of there, y'all don't think is that's all the people you go in Libya. I can tell you, I can assure you, got more than 20,000 people stuck around Libya there, and they don't have no means of getting out of there. Two ways of getting out of there. Either you died or you make it through the boat to Italy. Before, I was opportune to have my embassy there, and there was a little bit of structure for them to be able to do a process paper for me to be able to get out of there. But right now, there is no structure there. Only AU, we are hoping to be able to send people into Libya to rescue those that are there.
Okay, let's take our first caller. Kofi Ali, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you, Josh?
I'm very well, Kofi. What would you like to say this morning?
Great.
Kofi, I can't hear you. Kofi, please speak to your service providers yet again, Kofi. Call back because we can't hear you. Try and sort out your line, okay? If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203-286-0185. 0203-286-0185. My guest this morning is Provi. Provi is a young man who went to Libya. He was captured and held in detention center, and in the end, he was able to escape. So he's given us an insight as to what really happens down in Libya. Let's see if Kofi's back on a better line. Kofi, let's hear you.
Yeah, sorry for losing you. I say good morning to, is it Provost?
Provi, yes.
Yeah, Provi.
How are you, sir? Hello?
Kofi, we can hear you. What would you like to say?
Yes, he's doing a very wonderful job, and we really appreciate the insight he's giving us. I think he's giving us a better picture than what we thought, and it's making it clear to us that Libya is more than, or the problem is more than the way we are looking at it. And it's also making us aware it's far complicated than it is. And it's about people being detained, not because they want to enslave them. It's, they feel, the people in North Africa feel we have committed an offense and they are punishing. And they want to remove you from their country. That's why I say they put people in cages and dump them in the desert. Now, Provo, looking at the way ECOMOG acted in Liberia, I know you are a Liberian, and looking at what we put forces together to do in Sierra Leone, don't you think we can do better in dealing with this problem in Libya together as 15 countries of West Africa than as individuals?
That would be the better solution, because what we're looking at on social media, they are just scratching the surface of the real situation that is going on in Libya there. People are stuck there everywhere and they have no means of getting out of there. It's AU that need to get together, send people out there to go from one state to another to be able to get our people out of there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kofi. You can also call 0203-286-0185 if you want to ask Provi any questions. Provi, there's a question on Facebook where this is from Joyce. Joyce wants to know step by step how you came to the UK. If you can just give us a little bit of how you came here.
Steph want to know.
Joyce.
Joyce, I came over to London, England, by a legal procedure. I went back to Liberia. I was able to generate a little money and do some work, and then I met my son mother, which is was my partner at that time, and she invited me over to the UK, and that's how I came over.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Joyce. Hopefully that has answered your question. Now, across social media, there's a big, should I say, euphoria. People want to go out. Demonstrating is happening in other countries. People want to go out to demonstrate against what's going on in Libya. What would you say? Would you support that? Are you going to be there in the march?
The way I can be able to support is the best way that I'm doing here right now, to be able to give people the real insight of what's happening there. We should be after AU to do something about this, not just going out there, because sometimes it's like the way they say Black Lives Matters. Yeah. It will go on for a certain time, that the protesting will go on for a certain time, and then it stopped. But if we stop this right now, we have forgotten those that are stranded around there. And you and I know what will happen to them. They are hoping on us. They need our love and support in every way that they can. So we should be asking AU to do something about going in there and rescuing our brothers and sisters. Because walking along the street there, yeah, it's the best way, but sometimes these people just look at you, they think that, oh, these are less basic people. You know what I'm saying? But if we are hitting on our government to be able to do something about this, it will be done. So Ghana should be questioning their government, Nigerians should be questioning their government, and Gambian, Cameroonians should be questioning their people, Ivorian as well. How can we get our people out of there? What can you people do? That is the question to our government.
And how can we also tell our people not to make those perilous journeys through Libya?
They said the one that have eyes will see. For what is going on right now in Libya, if anyone being in Nigeria or Ghana, and you think that you are not okay with the little food you get in to eat a day, Libya is the only place you can make it. My brothers and sisters, I will tell you, in anything we're doing, health and safety come first. And a better life that you're going to look for, you don't want to go give that life to someone for no reason. So your health and safety come first. You should look at social media and take this as a warning, because your brothers are stuck there. There is no better way out of there. If you can get food to eat in Africa, in West Africa, you should be content with that little thing than to be someone else's slave.
Okay, and finally, I know you're an artist.
Yeah.
If you can tell us a bit about your music, what you do before we sign off.
What I do, I'm an artist and I'm a, let's say, actor as well, which is being an extra, and that's what I do in London here. And I just dropped my EP. It's on social media, on every digital store. You can go there. It's Provai, Provai, and I'm in Tidal, Shazam. You can get that through Shazam by listening to it.
Okay.
And iTunes everywhere, and SoundCloud. You can get me on there. The EP is called Direct Message.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on here, Provai. We're very, first and foremost, happy that you're safe, well, and sound.
Thank God.
And with what you've been through, I mean, it's a remarkable story. And we all appreciate the fact that you're able to come here to talk to us this morning and to share light, give us a better understanding in the real situation going on in Libya. So thank you very much for joining us.
And thank you guys very much for having me on here. My gratitude to the co-founder of this beautiful channel. I highly appreciate the love and support y'all giving to our brothers out there.
Thank you. Thank you. This is Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We're done for another day. All being well, we shall see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. For the rest of us, enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe. We'll end up the show with playing one of Provai's tunes. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global. This program is brought to you by Pay Global.